Hey guys, thank you so much for being so supportive of me yesterday. I took a day off simply because I had been running around so much yesterday. By the time I got home, I literally was just feeling knockout. I was done. I just collapsed into bed and I was like, I just don't have the energy. I'm so exhausted that I just cannot. But the good thing is that I have a bunch of time off from work, so I'm gonna have the opportunity to do a lot of recording. I do have other things to be doing aside from recording, but I'm gonna have the opportunity to do a lot of recording so that I hopefully don't run into that problem again. But again, thank you so much for being so supportive. I love you guys. This is exactly why I love you guys. But as I promised, I am back. So this video is about brands that I only own one product from. I saw somebody do this kind of video, but off the top of my head, I just cannot remember who it was that I saw doing it. When I made my list, it was like a lot of the items were from brands that I have recently purchased from, because as you guys know, there are a list of brands that I want to try out this year. So a lot of them I have only just purchased, so you know that I only have one of this particular brand's items because I've just bought it. So I try to veer away from brands that I've just purchased and focus on brands that I've had for a little while but have not yet repurchased anything else. That makes sense. The first thing that I was going to mention was the Clinique Pop Nude Pop lipstick, but then I looked over and I just saw my Clinique foundation. Albeit it's a sample, I still own something else, so I'm having to throw that one away and start again. Already we're off to a great start. Okay, so first is my Becca Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop Collection face palette. Ooh, I almost dropped it. That would have been really upsetting. So this is the palette. I'm sure you are very familiar with this palette. Everybody absolutely adored it, and it makes sense as into why. It is just a beautiful face palette, and what I have said is that when I wanted to get this, it was way after the hype. So the hype had kind of died down, but I was still seeing it everywhere, and there was one shade in this whole entire palette that I was willing to just buy the whole palette for, and it was this shade here, this shimmery pink. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. But when I finally got it and I started using it, it was this shade here, which was just killing it for me day in, day out. Absolutely adore it. And that shade is called Amaretto, but it was originally Rosé Spritz, which made me want to buy it. The highlighters themselves, very nice highlighters. This one is Champagne Pop, that one is Prosecco Pop. I do prefer Prosecco Pop over Champagne Pop, but it's still a beautiful shade. Now the thing is, like, why haven't I purchased anything since getting this palette? And I think it's because Becca is not cheap. Becca is not cheap at all, in the slightest whatsoever. And I feel like this really grabbed my attention, mainly for the packaging, but I was enticed by the product inside as well. But nothing has since really pulled me in as much as this did. So I just decided that until I'm going to be enticed again, I'm not gonna get it. The only time where I buy things mainly for the packaging or just for the sake of it or just to try it out or whatever is when it's an affordable brand at an affordable price. Aside from that, I have to really be interested. Like, for example, the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette. That's not a cheap palette, but it enticed me. Everything enticed me about it. The shade range, the packaging. I was willing to spend that money because I really felt like that was an investment. The Viseart Trist palette, I absolutely adored it. I loved all of the colors inside. I loved the packaging, everything. So I made that leap, but I'm not really willing to just spend a bunch of money on something that just does not entice me. So until Becca come out with something that entices me in the same way that this one did, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna hold off and just wait, because the thing is, the product inside, the highlighter, the blush shades, beautiful. The formula, really nice. I'm not saying, oh, it's the best or anything like that, but it is gorgeous. It's very nice. So hopefully Becca will come out with something else which will entice me. me. But until then, I only have one Becca item. Next is my Chanel Illusion d'Ombre eyeshadow. This I got in, it was one of my subscription boxes. Cohorted. Cohorted is a subscription box where they do high-end makeup. So you might, like, I've had MAC, Too Faced, Chanel, Lancome, and these are all full-sized items. They're not sample sizes. Will you get sample sizes of things? Yeah, of course. Like if they're doing little fragrances and stuff like that, they'll have the sample size fragrances. So like the little bottles, then it has like the little smelling stick thing and you just put it on your wrist, whatever. So those are like the things that you'll get, which is sample size. But aside from that, the cohorted box, they give you full-sized like luxury items kind of thing. Luxury makeup and beauty items. I digress. So this was the shade that I got, the Chanel eyeshadow that I got, and this one is in 91 Apparition, and this I feel is just so beautiful. I mean, like, look at the front, the emblem feels very luxurious, it feels high-end, it feels expensive. I don't know how much this actually costs, but like if you have a look at this, I've probably only used it a couple of times, and it's that very soft, very bouncy kind of formula, so it's almost moussey. Now since it has dried down a little bit, I can feel it when I'm touching it. It does feel a little bit drier, but not completely dry. And I did actually enjoy using this. As I said, I have used it a couple of times, but it's not something that I feel I need to put into my makeup routine every single day, but I think I am going to pull it out and use it a little bit more, seeing as now it's starting to dry down a little bit. It's Chanel. The chances of me buying Chanel makeup just because is highly unlikely. I don't have my bank account set up like that, although I wish it was, but it's not. But I absolutely love that they gave us a Chanel eyeshadow. I would never have thought that I would purchase anything like this or own anything like this ever. Now the actual shadow itself, do I feel like it's remarkable? Like formula is great, and like I don't feel like the formula is anything spectacular. I don't feel like if you don't have this then you are missing out. It's nothing like that at all. I just think it's a statement piece. It's something nice to have, and let's keep it 100. When you have something on your eyes, no one's going to know that it's Chanel, or that it's Too Faced, or that it's Becca, or that it's MAC, or that it's Juvia's place, or that it's Sleep or L'Oreal, until they ask and get an answer. That's how you know what is on somebody's face. So there's nothing, you don't really get anything from having Chanel eyeshadow on your eyes. Well, I don't anyway. Like I don't feel like, oh, it's made my makeup 100% better or whatever. Like I'm still just wearing makeup. It doesn't really make a difference if it was Sleek or Chanel. It's eyeshadow. It's just eyeshadow. So it's a nice statement piece to have probably on your vanity. I don't feel like it adds any value. That's what I was trying to say. It doesn't really add any value to my makeup or anything of the sort. It's just nice to have on your vanity and for people to know that it's Chanel, I guess. Okay, next, the only thing that I own from Morphe is this Morphe M164 brush. I saw Jaclyn Hill using this for her nose contour, and I was like, okay, I want to try it. Before I even tried any of their eyeshadow palettes, like I know Morphe, their original name was Morphe brushes. I don't know if they have completely changed it to just Morphe. So I know they did like a whole rebranding, but I don't know if it has, you know, like before I feel like they were known mainly for their brushes. Now I feel like they're known mainly for their eyeshadow palettes, but I had to get this brush because I saw Jaclyn Hill with it. And the thing is, I don't know if you can see, but the edge was not cut straight with this brush. It's not 100% straight. Like I can feel like some of the bristles are, it's not, I don't expect it to be laser cut or anything like that, but they're not 100% straight. But the brush itself, it's a good brush. It is, it's a very soft brush, and it does exactly what I want it to. Like when I dip into my powder contour and I like just go down the edges of my nose, I get a straight line, but I don't use this to blend it out. I use another brush to blend it out. This is literally just to make the shape, the line that I want on the sides of my nose, and then I use another brush just to blend it out. That's what I was doing, but I don't use this as much anymore. What brush do I use? I mainly use my NARS Eater brush, that longish one, and I do that on the sides of my nose instead. I think it's because I use that to blend out that I just find it kills two birds with one stone, just to blend, like to add the line and to blend it out all in one go, rather than putting it on with one brush and blending it out with another brush. Why haven't I purchased anything else Morphe? I think like this never made me feel like, oh, I don't want to try anything else Morphe at all. Never. I think it's mainly because I have my own brush brand. I have a lot of brushes, so I don't feel like I need to buy anything else Morphe in regards to brushes. But I am interested in potentially trying out a couple of their eyeshadow palettes, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I think if I was to get any eyeshadow palettes from them, it would probably be like the Jaclyn Hill palette, and they have a few like the square palettes that they had, not those long like the 350 and all of that. I'm not really interested in those ones as such, but they have other palettes which are a little bit smaller. I'm potentially interested in those, but I haven't yet gotten around to it, so I might be buying some Morphe things, but just not yet. Next is the Essence Light Up Your Face palette. This I got in, I think it was like a birch box or glossy box or something like that, and this just was not my shade at all. It just wasn't. So I think that these two on this side were supposed to be highlighters, and this one was supposed to be like a bronzer, and it did nothing for me because my skin tone is just not right for this palette. I went into Wilko. Wilko, for those of you who do not live in England, Wilko is like a general store. So in one department you might have like house decorations, in the other department you might have stationery, in another department you might have makeup, then you might have cleaning products, and etc, etc. So it's just a general store. You have all kinds of different things in there. So I know that Essence is carried in Wilko, so I went in there to see if they had like the next one up, like a deeper one, and they didn't. They only had this one, so I was just kind of like, oh, so I can't really judge this too tough. I did want to try a couple of their eyeshadow palettes because I had seen some reviews on them which were really good, but when I went and tried them out again in Wilko, I went and I swatched them, they just did not show up on my skin the same way that this just does not show up on my skin. So it just feels to me like Essence is just not targeted for my kind of skin tone, skin type at all. So it looks like until they start making makeup for people who have a deeper complexion, I'm not going to own anything aside from this. Lastly, we have the Dose of Colors Ice Cream Palette. I absolutely loved and adore this. When I saw it, I was like, yes, I'm buying it. Not only is the packaging beautiful, but it's like, look at the inside, look at those colors. This is just so beautiful. I had to get it. And the thing is, listen to this story, right? So I said to Dose of Colors, will you be sending your ice cream palette to Beauty Bay, because Beauty Bay carries Dose of Colors? And they were like, no, it's limited edition. We don't send limited edition things to Beauty Bay. They only carry our regular stuff. So I was like, okay, then never mind. They did a restock. So I was like, cool. Waiting for the restock. As soon as the restock came out, like the same minute, I checked out. Now, obviously, when you're buying from the States, I'm having to pay my bank to convert the money from British pounds to US dollars. And then when the item comes here, and I'm paying for shipping as well. And then when the item comes here, I have to pay for import taxes, which was like £15. So this probably came to about 65 quid, something like that, because listen. Then a couple of months later, who gets the palette? Beauty Bay gets the palette, and they're selling it for £40 with free shipping, because if you spend over, I think it's like over £20, you get free postage. So I was just kind of like, I could have spent £40 on this, but instead I spent about £65. So I was a bit annoyed. But this palette itself, oh my gosh, I absolutely love the shades. I absolutely love the pigment. Some of the pigment you do need to build up. It's not all just kind of like put on a platter for you. value, but I just felt like this was so different, just so different. I don't own anything which is like this, and I don't think that I'm going to own anything quite like this, but I don't feel like they have since brought out anything which was as innovative as this. That's why I haven't purchased anything else from Dose, but gorgeous. It's so beautiful, and I only really use it every once in a while. I don't tend to use it on a daily basis because I know that I can't get it back. I can't get it back, so I don't want to run through it. And then, I mean, I do have a dupe, which is the fake. The fake is not a dupe, it's just a fake, which I used to do like a real versus fake for on one of my videos, so that's why I have it. And they're nowhere near the same quality, color payoff, none of it. So it's not even worth trying to compare the two. So I just tend not to use this as much because I think this one, and again the Kat Von D Pastel Goth, those are some palettes that once I run through, I know I'm gonna miss them. I know I'm gonna miss them. So, but those come out with something else which is as nice, and like, this is the kind of colorful palette that I like this. And this is reminiscent of ice cream to me. It really is. I know that Beauty Bakery came out with their own ice cream palette, and it wasn't quite on the nail for me, but this one most definitely. So those are some brands that I only own one item from. Let me know what your collection is saying and which brands you only own one item from, and what are the reasons as well. Did the first item let you down? Have you just not gotten around to getting anything else? Are you waiting for something great to come around from that brand? Let me know. I'd love to know what you think. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.